Hey everybody. So this week we're going to go ahead and cover the parts of a square, the parts of a rectangle, and we're also going to learn how to calculate, or for some of you we're going to review how to calculate the perimeter of a square, the perimeter of a rectangle, and also how to calculate the area of a square and the area of a rectangle. So a couple weeks ago, we went over the parts of a trapezoid. So if you feel pretty comfortable with that, then you're gonna be really comfortable with the parts of a square and the parts of a rectangle because they are essentially exactly the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over these really quickly, or the parts of them really quickly. And I want you to still copy these down into your notebooks for me, but I don't think you're gonna have any problems with this lesson, okay? So we know that a square, by definition, it's a quadrilateral, so it has 4 sides, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put my side label right there. All right, so that is one side of the square. The square has 4 sides, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and move my side label, and then I'm gonna put my base label right here. All right, so we've talked about major bases, or maybe even a minor base before. I'm not using major or minor base here because all of my sides are equal in a square. So it doesn't matter which way I turn this square. I'm not gonna have a side or a base that is longer than any of the other sides, okay? So this is the base. If I flipped it, I rotated it this way, then this would be the base. If I kept rotating, then this could be the base, all right? But you can see that none of them will be any longer or shorter than the others. All right, we also know that by virtue of its definition, a square has 4 angles, 4 right angles specifically, right? So we know that where these 2 lines or these 2 sides form at its intersection, that's the vertex, right? And I always think that this is a lovely way to see the vertex kind of represented 3-dimensionally, right? With that little push pin, right? So there would be the vertex, and then our angle is right here. And like I said, with a square, we have 4 right angles, which we know are 90 degrees, right? So if I were to add up all 4 of my angles, I would say that my square, the sum of the interior angles of the square would be 360 degrees, right? Okay. All right. We also learned about the diagonal with the trapezoid, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like here. All right, and we know that the diagonal starts from one side or one vertex of the square, and it goes to the opposite vertex. All right, so that is our diagonal. Okay, and then we also have the word perimeter. Okay, so perimeter basically means the distance around the outside of the shape. All right, in this case, the perimeter would be the distance of all of the sides, right? Like the distance around the square. And the way that we figure out the perimeter is by adding up all 4 sides of the square. All right, so the perimeter would be the sum, and we know the sum is the answer a person would get when they are adding something together. So the perimeter would be equal to adding side 1. We'll call this one side 1, and I've abbreviated my word side with a capital S. I've also abbreviated the word perimeter. I've shortened it to a capital P. So the perimeter equals side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 plus side 4. So we know that each of these would be 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, and in this case I would get 20 inches. And I have to make sure that I am including my unit of measurement here. I always have to include that with my answer or it's not going to be correct. It's not just 20, it's 20 inches, right? So we know that addition, or actually multiplication, is the same thing as addition, but it's just a lot faster. So another way of doing this, we could always add our 4 sides together, but you could also multiply. So I could say my perimeter is equal to 4 times the sides. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and write it, I would have the perimeter equals 4 times 5, because each side is worth 5, right? And then that would give us, again, 20 inches. Okay? All right, so that is how we calculate perimeter, and those are the parts of a square. I'm gonna go and set up my parts of a rectangle for you and do the perimeter for that too, and then we'll switch to area. Okay, thanks guys.